how exotic it is.
We are Sports!
Get it for less at the DIY Home Center outlet. Get top quality real wood cabinets the same or less than the big box stores are selling the cheap stuff. And that's not all. Drywall screws big box stores are $6.47 a pound. At DIY, only $4.99. Plus, DIY has the largest selection of mobile home parts and accessories anywhere. From carpet to doors, get the DIY supplies you need for less. The DIY Home Center outlet. We are your building material closeout store. 2191 Northwest 10th Street, just 2 miles east of I-75.
All right, 25 minutes before 8 o'clock. It is very foggy out there, so just be careful if you haven't left the house yet. If you have the luxury of being able to wait until the fog burns off or lifts or whatever it does, then you'll be better off, I would think. It looks pretty foggy to me, anyway.
It is. It's very foggy, but everybody was good on 200 coming in, and they were all taking their time, which I was surprised. So it was a good drive-in.
Any ribbon cuttings I need to mention?
No, nothing until the 31st so far.
Okay, good. I wanted to talk about this. I was reading this article and looking at some recipes and just a whole lot of information about how we as Americans were able to survive during World War II, and I guess I'm imagining this happened during other wars as well, regarding substituting things that were not easily accessible because of the war, things that were being used because of the war. Nylons is one thing I knew already that was on the list, and nylons, the whole idea of nylon, let me see if I have this right here, but nylon stockings were a huge deal when they first came out in the late 1930s. Created by DuPont, they were so popular that May 16th, 1940, the day they were first widely available in large quantities because, I'm not saying, okay, I read it wrong. But anyway, the first day they were widely available in large quantities became known as Nylon Day, 1940, before we got involved in the war.
Nice.
The fashion, however, was short-lived. It was only a year later that nylon was pulled from the production of women's fashion and moved instead to the production of parachutes and other things that were used, that nylon was used for. Mosquito netting is something else that they used nylon for. So women who had become accustomed to wearing nylons had to figure out a way to substitute that. And as you know the answer to this one, right?
I do.
What did they do?
They painted the stripe
Painted
up the
it
back
on.
of their leg, and they painted it, and that gave a new boom to the makeup industry.
Yeah.
Because they painted their legs.
Right, exactly.
They painted the black seam up the back of their legs so they could have a sexier looking leg.
Which, to me, it's like a mystery. Why is that sexier looking? But I guess that was the style of the day, right?
Yeah.
I wonder if
men want to take them off. I mean, if they see something on a good looking leg, they say, ooh, let me take that off of there.
You're probably right.
That's what it is. It's all about sex.
It makes sense, yes. Well, anyway, they used an eyebrow pencil.
That's right.
It became so popular that liquid stockings started hitting the shelves in place of the stockings and the homemade eyebrow pencil technique. Bottles with names like Leg Silk and Silk Tona were advertised to contain enough colorant for a few dozen applications. For those who needed a little bit of extra assistance, the women of the leg makeup bars were ready to help.
See that?
There were leg makeup bars.
That's right.
Now, did you know that part?
I didn't know that. That I did not know was the leg makeup bars.
So I didn't either, of course. Let's see. They started popping up in department stores. Yeah, it would be, yeah.
Yeah, because you got to.
I would raise my hand.
All the way up
you need help with that?
You know?
I can help.
Of course.
They sold leg sticks and leg art and stocking lotion. You rubbed it on your legs and it made it look like you had stockings on.
Yeah.
Now, when I was a kid, I remember nurses always wore white stockings. Do you remember that?
Yeah, because they were support hose.
Is that right? Okay.
They weren't sheer stockings.
No yawning, Doug. No yawning allowed. No yawning. No yawning allowed, Doug.
No.
I know.
All right. So anyway, so that's one thing, and that was probably the only thing on this list that I really, really knew about. Have you ever heard of potato shortbread?
No.
Okay. The ingredients that was used for normal shortbread, I guess, was in short supply.
Okay.
And so potato shortbread became a new thing. It required 3 ounces of margarine, 2 ounces of rice flour, some salt, a little almond flavoring, 4 ounces of mashed potatoes, 3 ounces of flour, and 2 ounces of sugar, and voila, you have potato shortbread.
Oh, okay.
I wonder how it tasted.
I bet it tasted good.
I bet it did too.
I bet it really did.
And then there was also seasonal soup. Now, tell me if you would like a bowl of this soup. This was made out of a half a pound of chestnuts, an ounce of margarine, 1 quart of vegetable stock, which I'm not so sure what that is, a teaspoon of sugar, a chopped onion, and a teaspoon of lemon juice. Voila, you have your seasonal soup.
Vegetable stock is the liquid that comes when you boil all the vegetables together, just like chicken stock or beef stock. If you boil the meat, you get that residue, and that's what the stock is.
Mayonnaise during the war was not as easy to come by as it was before the war. So here's how ladies were making mayonnaise for the household. I guess some guys did this too. 2 ounces of margarine, 3 tablespoons of brown sugar, a tablespoon of whole wheat flour, a half pint of milk, a teaspoon of mustard, 1 egg, and apple juice or gooseberry juice.
That sounds good.
And also about 1/4 of a pint of vinegar. So that's how you make your own.
Nice.
The Twinkie fits into this whole wartime rationing thing.
It does.
Yeah.
Gosh.
One of the things that was limited during World War II, both in England and America, was the banana. I guess because they had to be imported. It was a popular part of a number of foods, from England's banana sandwiches to dessert fillings in the United States. In England, substitutes like mashed parsnips replaced the banana in sandwiches.
Oh, okay.
In America, we had an even more creative solution, and it had to do with the design of one of the most iconic treats that just about went away, and I guess it's back now, the Twinkie.
Okay.
The original Twinkie had been around since 1930. And the original recipe called for the same spongy cake that you are familiar with, but with banana cream filling. Back in the day, it was made with real bananas. And that meant that by the time the war hit, there was a massive shortage, and Twinkies suddenly were threatened to be non-existent. The banana was dropped, but vanilla cream, I guess, was not in short supply, and it took its place. And there you go.
Wow.
They introduced the Twinkie the Kid, which was the mascot, and giving it a little bit of a marketing edge. It became such a popular change that even when the banana shortage disappeared, Twinkie kept the vanilla cream that you are familiar with, you became familiar with.
Yeah, that was really good.
By the way, bananas were so rare that in Britain, a single banana was auctioned off in Russell Square in 1942. In today's money, it would have been $125 for one banana.
Oh my gosh!
If you figured in, the difference in the value of money.
Yeah.
Let's go to the phone. Good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning, Larry, Robin.
Hi, Sonny.
So, when you got margarine, it came in like a plastic bag, and in that bag was a red dot, and you had to break the dot and then knead the margarine in the bag, or knead everything to turn it into margarine. And, it wasn't just like we do now, where you can pop open a container and use it right away.
Yeah. I've heard that too, that you had to mix the coloring in. Yep. But it didn't add flavor, did it?
Well, it was...
you thought it did?
Like any substitute.
Wow.
It wasn't like the real thing, but it did survive, I guess.
Wow.
We all survived, so...
Yeah.
Anyway.
Well, thank you for sharing that, Sonny.
Right.
Appreciate that. If you have something you remember from this era, I would love to hear it. I don't know what kind of things we would be missing here now. We probably have a shortage of a lot of stuff, right?
I would think so, yeah.
All right, carrots were used instead of sugar. Sugar was a valuable rationed commodity during World War II. Carrots, however, were not. Everyone had carrots, and everybody got on the carrot bandwagon, advertising that not only were carrots good, but they were good for you. And here's an interesting thing. You know, this whole thing that doctors will sometimes say that it's not true that carrots will actually give you good eyesight?
Yes.
Okay, do you know where that got started?
No.
Because so many people were eating carrots, the Royal Air Force was using this newly invented thing called radar, and they were hitting their targets perfectly at night, but they didn't want to let anybody know how they were able to do that so well at night. So they simply said that their pilots had been eating a lot of carrots and it was making their eyesight better.
Oh, how fascinating is that?
They didn't want to reveal that they had this new thing called radar.
Oh, that is so fascinating.
Isn't that amazing?
It is amazing. It is absolutely amazing.
They gave credit to the carrot for their good eyesight.
Yeah.
And then, of course, then it spread and everybody believed that the carrots gave you good eyesight. All right, I got more of these when we come back. This is WOCA Ocala.
The weather is brought to you by myfwc.com. Safe boating is no accident. Today, very warm with sunshine and patchy clouds along with a shower, a high of 82 to 88. Then tonight, clear to partly cloudy, a low of 59 to 67. Tomorrow, very warm with partial sunshine, a high of 81 to 87. And round out the weekend, Sunday, remaining warm with clouds and sunshine, a shower possible near the coast, a high of 83 to 87. From the Florida Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Evan Duffy.
Hey, Matt, I know Sunrise Automotive does auto stuff, but I need some tires for my truck. Can you recommend someone?
Yes, I can. We do that.
No, I mean, I need them installed and balanced and all that.
Yep, we do that.
Well, my son needed his windows tinted.
Yep, we do that.
I need my
too.
seat replaced.
Yep, we do that too.
I need a new roof line, and a new spoiler, and a new
Yep,
trunk.
we can even do that too.
Okay, I get it. I suppose you can also do a radio show too, huh?
Well, as a matter of fact, join me every Monday at 10 for auto repair with personal care here on The Source.
Of course you do.
Are you tired of not using your home's outdoor space for entertaining or relaxation because of all the bugs and leaves? Consider adding a beautiful screen room or glass enclosure. We are Superior Aluminum and Design, a family-owned and operated business with 20 years experience in the aluminum industry, and we are accredited by the Better Business Bureau. If you appreciate superior workmanship, call Superior Aluminum and Design at 817-8058 or visit us on the web at superiораluminumdesign.com.
Hospice of Marion County has an urgent need for volunteers to share a conversation with someone, run errands, hold someone's hand. All you need is a willingness to help others. Our volunteers believe the blessings they receive far exceed the services they offer. Will you consider serving, caring, and making a difference? Call today, 873-7441. Hospice of Marion County, making more moments of life possible.
Hi, this is JP from Penn Flooring here in Ocala. I would like to invite you to come in and visit our spacious showroom where we have solutions for every style and budget. From wall-to-wall carpet to hardwood floors and tiles, we have an unsurpassed selection of flooring. At Penn Flooring, we've provided quality customer service with a family touch for over 25 years. Visit our website at pennflooring.com or come by our showroom, 1201 Southwest 17th Street, just over the bridge. Penn Flooring, quality customer service with a family touch.
Hi, Matt Wilkerson here, your mobile Verizon rep. But not just here, I'll deliver the phone to you in your home. While I'm there, I'll only sell you what you need and I'll personalize it to you. Want to have me get you connected? Then call me at 352-528-0020. I even offer unlimited home phone service for just $20 per month. Just call me, your mobile Verizon rep, at 352-528-0020.
All right, 12 minutes before 8 o'clock. Thank you for tuning in. It still looks rather foggy out there, so if you haven't gotten out of the house yet and you can wait, then wait. It'll burn off or lift or whatever it does eventually. We're talking about how we as Americans, and also I have some here from the Japanese, they had a different way of rationing, or not with rationing, but of dealing with the rations. And I have at least one from Japan. But I started to tell you about the carrots being used instead of sugar. Now, in my mind, it's hard to imagine carrots instead of sugar. But anyway, so I told you about how the carrots were being used as a fake explanation as to why the British pilots were good at hitting their targets at night. And it was because of this thing called radar they were using.
Oh, they're very sweet when you cook the carrots and don't put anything on them.
Oh, see, I didn't know that.
They taste really good.
Oh, I didn't even know that. But
I like them anyway.
Anyway, there was something I wanted to tell you about this. In December of 1941, the Ministry of Food, and this would have been in England, held a competition in which it invited housewives to submit their recipes for carrots. Now, that's all you need to do to have really good ideas about anything is invite people to do this.
Exactly.
That's why I think that our idea later with Galen about how to Perhaps well, I'll do that later. But anyway, when you ask a bunch of people that come up with ideas, they usually do. People were encouraged to replace milk with carrot water.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
There was carrot pudding. There was carrot jam. Children found their ice cream replaced by carrots on a stick.
Wow.
But with chocolate or toffee dipped.
Mm-hmm.
There were toffee dipped carrots. Let's see. Toffee apples were being sold instead of, I guess, toffee covered. Oh, I'm sorry. Toffee covered carrots were more popular than toffee covered apples. Mm-hmm. I guess apples were in short supply. Why would that be? There was carrot fudge, carrot marmalade, curried carrots, even a recipe for mock apricot tarts, which used carrots instead of apricots.
Oh, wow.
Just thought that was interesting.
How fascinating.
All right.
Extremely
All right,
interesting.
another way. There was a recipe I found on Pinterest regarding this same topic. There's a whole load of sites of people just remembering how they handled the rationing war years.
Yeah.
Send these to your boy in uniform is what the headline read in the newspaper clipping that was scanned and then posted online. Spicy, crunchy cookie bars that travel well and stay deliciously fresh and moist, and all used with non-rationed ingredients.
Mm-hmm. Oh, nice.
So that's kind of cool. All right, here's what they did in Japan. They discovered the meat of the whale.
Oh.
I guess whale meat was already popular up in Alaska, but it was not that popular in Japan at that time.
Okay.
But it took off. By 1947, about half of the meat consumed in Japan was whale meat.
Wow.
Which gave a huge boost to a tradition that had long been a part of Japan's culture. Obviously, this is after the war, but hey, they were smarting from that defeat.
Yes, they were.
They were smarting. Most school lunches contained whale meat. Most school lunches, Robin, contained whale meat.
Gosh. Wow.
Anyway, so here's what happened as time moved on. According to the research center in Tokyo, the Nippon Research Center, older people living in Japan are much more likely to still eat whale meat on a regular basis because it became a childhood favorite of theirs. Mm-hmm. For those about 30 years old, almost 60% of them hardly eat whale meat at all. And this is in Japan, of course. And by the time they looked at people in their teens, about half of them have never even tried it.
Probably not.
At the end of the poll, it was found that about 95% of the population eating whale meat just wasn't a thing. And that's a huge swing from even a few decades after the war, when whale made up a fourth of the diet of the average Japanese person.
It's probably age 80 and over.
So England found out about what they were doing in Japan to handle the rationings, yes. And they attempted to get English people to develop a taste for whale meat, but it just didn't take off.
I think it has to do with the psyche, too.
It just
the
didn't
human
take
psyche,
off.
You know? It's
Yeah.
like, I won't eat squid, you know? I can't.
You can't eat squid. Squid is rubber.
Yeah.
Squid is, I don't even know how fish eat squid.
Or calamari or whatever.
Yeah, I know. I don't know how fish, when you get squid as a bait, it's like you can't even cut it. It's so tough.
I know. But it's a delicacy.
All right, here's another one. By the time World War II hit, chewing gum had been incredibly popular among children and adults. During the war, there was an incredible shortage of gum in the United States. There was a few reasons for that. Wrigley, the gum manufacturing giant, was running into supply problems, just like any number of other companies were. They had some reserves of chewing gum ingredients in storage, but those reserves weren't meant for domestic use. American soldiers were chewing about 500 million pieces of gum a year, and the government wanted to keep that supply going. So Wrigley's didn't have a domestic supply. They were sending it all overseas. Isn't that interesting? I guess for morale purposes, huh?
Yeah.
So Wrigley was in a quandary for serving the domestic market. They didn't want to compromise on the ingredients of their tried and true staples, so they started making a new wartime substitute for the domestic market. They called it Orbit. You've heard of Orbit gum.
Yeah, I have.
It was marketed as good wartime chewing gum because people in the United States didn't want to buy chewing gum because they knew that should be reserved for the troops.
Yes.
So in order to market it, the Wrigley Company had to let the Americans here know that this was fine. This was not taking away from the soldiers.
Mm-hmm.
How about that, huh?
That's fascinating.
I don't know what the difference is between Orbit and the Wrigley chewing gum, but anyway, Orbit. I've seen it. Isn't it still for sale today?
It is.
Orbit?
It's for sale.
I wonder what the
today,
difference
yeah.
is.
It's repackaged, and I don't know. We'll have to buy regular Wrigley gum
I
and
wish
then
the article.
Orbit gum.
The article didn't explain that. Anyway, how many of you enjoy paperback books? Paper rationing during the war helped establish paperback books.
Wow.
One of the earliest publishers of paperback books was the Penguin Book Publishing Company.
Oh, wow. They go back that far.
Paperback books were affordable, they were easy to carry, and the world seemed crazy about them. The idea of the paperback had been tried before in the 16th century in Italy, and later with something called penny dreadfuls. I guess that was what they called paperbacks. But those attempts didn't work out. They looked cheap. People didn't want them. They were low quality. They fell apart. Penguin books, however, were much different. They were higher quality. By the time paper rationing through the war years put on a shortage for the publishing world, paperbacks were very, very popular, and it worked out that we didn't take away from the need of paper.
Oh, how wonderful.
The establishment of paper rationing meant that the paper was used to print books was ridiculously valuable. In order to make sure publishers were getting the most out of what they were allotted, typography restrictions were put in place. Books needed to have a certain number of words per page, a certain plain formatting when it came to chapter breaks, and needed to fall within the guidelines for margins just to save on paper. Isn't that amazing?
That is amazing. Absolutely amazing. I love this.
And then the popularity of paperbacks continued after the war.
Mm-hmm. Gosh.
All right, now you've heard this one, Spam.
Yes.
Spam was a very popular item, not only in the war, but also during the Great Depression.
Oh, yeah.
The morale of the soldiers and civilians alike was boosted by Spam.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of like Spam. Spam was created in the 1930s. It was dubbed the miracle meat because it was affordable and tasted pretty good. By 1940, it was in about 70% of American households. Isn't it like really popular in Hawaii?
It is, very.
Once the lend and lease program kicked into full swing, it was sent by the tons to Britain and the Soviet Union. Millions of pounds of Spam were ultimately sent overseas.
Gosh, isn't that something?
And that eventually led to the development of the Hormel Girls, traveling troupe of salesgirls and singers. After the war, Jay Hormel wanted to do something to boost the job market as well as keep the momentum of his products going. The Hormel Girls started as an all-female, all-veteran group of singing, dancing, instrument-playing ladies who would tour the country in their white Chevrolets, pitching the benefits of Spam at supermarkets.
How cool is that?
Wow.
That is so
Did
cool.
they release any albums? I want to hear what they sounded like.
Yeah.
Good morning. You're on the air.
Yes, Spam now comes in several flavors. My cousin favors a lot of hot peppers, and there is a jalapeno version of Spam, which I sent him a can of.
Oh, really? Oh, wow. And where does he live?
He lives in New Hampshire.
Oh, okay. I thought maybe it was someplace where it's hard to get Spam. Thank you, Jim. I think they're getting.
Have a good day.
I think they get more snow today, aren't they?
Yeah.
All right.
6 to 8 inches they're predicting wet snow in New York.
In World War I, Germany found itself facing massive meat shortages that forced the mayor of the city of Cologne to develop something that was at the time pretty revolutionary, a meatless sausage.
Oh.
He called it the Kölnerwurst.
Okay.
And most people hated it.
I bet they did.
Yeah, so it's vegetarian sausages. And then the last one is similar to the one we were talking about with the nylons. At the time when the government was telling people exactly what they could buy and when they could buy it, it was undoubtedly easy to feel like there was a huge amount of everyday life that was just beyond control. But one thing that the government did to encourage women was to continue to look beautiful. The slogan was, "Beauty is your duty." Ladies, beauty is your duty.
I love that. We should have that still today.
And while part of it was to boost the morale of the men and women at home, it also served as a taunt in Hitler's direction. Hitler disapproved of makeup. I didn't know that.
I didn't know that.
So it became part of the war effort to find some way to keep women looking powdered and prim. At first, cosmetic companies were putting out lipstick in colors like regimental red and lips in uniform.
Oh, cool.
But things became more and more difficult due to a lack of materials, and I know we're up against the clock. So long story short, imitation makeup was out there.
Nice.
If you were out of mascara, you used boot polish instead. Face powders and foundations were derived from chalk and margarine.
Oh, there you go.
It's your beauty is your duty, ladies.
I gotta get
Broadcasting
makeup.
from the Paddock Mall Studios, this is WOCA, Ocala, Gainesville, The Villages, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, The Source.
Fox News Radio, I'm Lillian Wu. Spring is finally here, but it feels like
the longest winter ever. I'm over it.
She's in New York, which is expecting more snow as a storm takes aim at parts of the mid-Atlantic to the northeast.
Areas from Philadelphia through New Jersey and up to New York City seeing potentially 4 to 6 inches of snow, and areas of southern Connecticut in on the action as well. Boston, maybe another 1 to 3 inches. Meanwhile, that cold air is in place, but there is spring in parts of the country. Areas of the Central Plains again seeing temperatures 15 to 20 degrees above average.
Fox meteorologist Rick Reichmuth. We're learning more about the gunman who carried out an attack at the National Museum in Tunis. Security official there says they trained in Libya. And the TSA speaking out after an internal watchdog group says a convicted felon had been allowed to pass through expedited security. TSA saying it takes its responsibility for protecting the public seriously. Fox News, we report, you decide.
Fox News Early Prime, breaking down business news and its impact on your bottom line. Your World with Neil Cavuto.
That's how I do business. That's why I am business.
Bold positions and brash opinions on the topics America is buzzing about. The Five.
How do you think this will set in with the American people?
This will be the pulse of the nation.
Washington insight and political know-how from the best in the Beltway. Special report with Brett Bay.
The epicenter of the political world is here.
The #1 place for fair and balanced coverage. Fox News Channel.
What's wrong with working hard to make our lives and our kids' lives better? Nothing. At Fox Business, we don't have a problem with success. We have a very big problem with those who get in the way of it. We don't come out of the box bashing those who make money, just the politicians stealing it and the bureaucracies wasting it. We're not just sitting behind a desk. We're out in the field, on the floor.